Hey everyone, welcome back to Williamson Ridge Outdoors. Today we are standing beside our 2023 Chevy Silverado 2500HD because we're going to be installing the full coverage floor mats. So this is the custom package, and it came with some floor mats, and that was like one of the add-ons, in this package was some rubber floor mats, but they are kind of minimal. They don't cover all the carpet, they don't cover much area. They just kind of give you a little bit of protection right underneath your feet. So we went ahead and decided to order the full coverage mats from the Chevy website and go ahead and get the factory, like Chevy full coverage mats for it. So we're going to go ahead and put those in there today. It shouldn't be too big of a job. On the back seat though, there actually might be some cutting involved in those mats, but on the front, they should just lay right in there. But as you can see, we've already got some dirt and stuff going on here. There's not a whole lot of coverage other than just right here at your feet. And then these places like this don't have any coverage at all. And I'm already getting my carpet dirty there where I set my foot there. So the new ones should cover all this up. Plus they're going to cover up the middle hump. So I'm going to go ahead and vacuum this out so I don't put the new mats over top of the dirt. So we got it vacuumed out good. I'll probably come back and clean these seals up a little bit where they've got some dirt on them. But we're going to go ahead and put the mats in. So after we pulled our mats out, cleaned up our carpet, the next thing you got to do actually is slide this seat all the way back. So in my particular case, I don't have power seats, so I can just pull that lever and it slides right back. You kind of have to work this thing in, and it seems like you work the end with the pedals in first, and you just kind of wedge it right on in there, and you can reach up in here and pull it forward and just keep working it in. And you'll know when it's in place because it fits everything pretty well perfect. If you get caught under that plastic trim, it'll actually kind of hang up there. But then you'll see your holes line up down here for your mats to match up and be able to pop them into place. So this hole is lined up on this side. Got the mat lined up on the hump, and it's down flush all the way around. And then our other holes lined up, so we're going to pop them into place. And you can kind of just push everything down. And I'd say in warm weather, like this will probably kind of go in here a little bit better. And as it gets in, things will kind of fit down and even get even better fitting. But that actually is really good. This side of the mat comes over the door jamb here. So that way if the water does kind of get over here, debris, then it'll roll off your jamb instead of getting down to your carpet. So you can see we're pushed down into our little holders right here. They're clipped into place. So that's going to hold the floor mat down to the floor good, keep it from sliding around. Your backside actually has this nice lip right here. That'll keep water and debris from coming back here to your carpet. There's a little space right here on the back side that it's not fitting tight right there. But maybe when the weather warms up, this will kind of sit down and kind of go down a little bit better. This middle section, this goes halfway over, and then you've got these big rubber connectors right here. So we're going to get the passenger side and lay it right in here, and they should push down and snug up and get everything fitting real good. So we're going to go ahead and put the other mat in, and this one's the same way. We're just going to make sure the seat's all the way back. Gives us plenty of room. Going to work the mat in the front side first. And just work it right down into the floor. And then as you get lined up, you'll see the little connectors here in the middle start lining up. And we're just going to push those and work them down into place. So we've got those locked in good. I don't think those are going to come up. It's kind of almost like that they're maybe got a little taper on them because they kind of pop down into place. But that locks in good. It's like a solid piece pretty much. And as you can see, we've got full coverage across from the floor over there. Our middle hump is completely covered. And then the passenger floorboard is also completely covered. It even covers up your little kick panels and stuff here. And that kind of helps protect this from scratches and getting that all messed up from dirty shoes and all that. So these actually fit really nice. Again, This is back to the carpet and has a nice lip back here to keep debris away from your carpet as much as possible. And then it overhangs your door jambs there just a little bit to kind of let everything stay on top and not go down into your carpet. So the front mats were pretty simple, but the back mats are quite a bit more involved. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I've actually been messing around in here to see what my options were, because I was hoping to not have to cut these mats, but depending on your trim or depending on your options is going to determine whether you have to cut these mats or not. So if your options on your truck do not include this storage tray, then those mats in the back are just like the front. You can just lay them right in. They fit up against everything, and they'll have a nice full coverage all the way back here to the back. So if you have the optional storage tray here underneath your seat, you are going to have to cut the mats. So these mats are a universal fit. So they'll actually fit the crew cab with or without that storage compartment under the seat. They'll also fit an extended cab. And so it's showing the directions on here. If you have a crew cab, you're going to follow directions 4 through 6 and cut your mats according to this. So this is number 5. So we're going to cut all the way around and have this little cut out through here. But if you have the just the extended cab, then the cutting actually goes along this line right here and just has a straight cut across the back. So we're doing the crew cab, so we're following directions 4 through 6. So step number 4 is to flip the mats over, and then step number 5 is to basically follow those scissor lines all the way around your mat. There's actually some little scissor marks right here that you can follow, and this gives you your line where you need to cut in order to fit around that storage tray. So Tamara's not going to be real happy because I'm using her kitchen scissors on these rubber floor mats. Hopefully they won't be too hard to cut, but these scissors are supposed to be able to cut bone, so they should be okay for cutting this. So I'm not 100% crazy about this corner right here. I couldn't get it real smooth, but this is going to be covered up by that little tool tray, so not that big of a deal. We'll go ahead and cut the other mat because these again are in 2 pieces and they join in the middle. So there's also the line on here. We're just going to follow that line the same as we did on the other one. So this might have been easier from the start to just get a really good sharp razor blade, because this rubber is actually really easy to cut. And I might have actually got some better lines out of it, but it definitely works better for this little close corner right here, because I can just kind of slice right through that and smooth it up good. The cut looks pretty good. You know, I'm the type that it showed pictures of scissors on here, so I thought, well, I'll just grab a pair of scissors and cut it. May not be the easiest way. You might can do it with a razor blade a little bit easier. You also could accidentally slip with your razor blade and cut way too far into a section that you want. So the scissors seem like you definitely have a little bit more control, but then you can actually go back through like I'm doing and clean up some of these edges and make it look nice and straight. So this is probably one thing I'm just a little OCD about. When there's a line to cut on, I just like being right on that line. So I wanted to clean up these corners and get that. All right, so let's get to putting the mat actually in the truck and get this job done. I never would have thought that this job would have been as time consuming as it is. If you have that optional storage tray under the seat, then you have to take the time to cut these mats to get them to lay in there. So we pulled our 10mm bolt loose right here. This is actually kind of just threads down into what seems like the carpet. It's just got a big old carpet like screw on the bottom of it. We removed our nuts for our jack and took the jack out. That let this thing come free. So I'm just going to move it out of the way for now. So you can see your floor mat is just going to slide in just like the front ones did. And you're going to get it lined up the same way. Everything kind of just will fall into place, and you can see back here this back piece of trim is going to line up with the back side back here. So now we can get our second mat and go ahead and put it in. So again, with this mat, you can pretty well tell where everything squares up. When you line up your little connectors right here, again, these things are going to push down into place, and that locks them into together, and it actually locks them really tight. So that locks the two mats together really well. They're tied in, they fit in there good. All of our overlaps and stuff are right where they need to be. So now we can put our storage tray back in. So there's a couple bolt holes over here for that floor jack. So you want to line them up. And then get those on that side. So as you can see, this storage tray overlaps the floor mat, and it comes right up to the curve here on this lip. And then you've got this lip all the way across that kind of helps keep stuff from coming back to your storage tray. So we're going to go ahead and start snugging our bolts and stuff back down and putting all of our pieces back in. So we're going to put our tire iron back in. You can see right here where the handle was at, so we're going to turn it that way, and then we're going to put our bracket back on here and just thread that wing nut back on. So we're just going to make sure we snug that down so that this thing don't move around. It's good and tight. We don't have any rattles or anything there. And let's go put the jack in the other side. So the jack, you just got two bolts, and those holes are just going to line right up on there. And we're going to put our 10mm nuts back on. And the same way on the passenger side, you can see the storage tray here comes right up to that rubber edge right there. So it matches up on both sides pretty much perfectly. Kind of gives it a nice little trim look across the front. And where you've done your cuts, like I say, your cuts don't have to be perfect because your storage tray is actually covering up that back edge of that and looking like it runs way back up under there. Pretty much, this is, again, full coverage, covers up all the carpet in there. So even though we went with the trim level that has carpet, I went ahead and covered it up because if I ever go to sell the truck, I can pull these mats out and then the carpet and everything will look brand new underneath it still. You know, the mats, as they wear and get old, you can just replace them and keep this looking new all the time. So if we keep this truck for 10, 15 years like we did our old truck, then the interior should continue to stay looking nice. Here's a look at the front again. So we got our Chevy logo right there. And then it covers all the way across the hump in the middle. Covers every bit of the carpet. Should protect it really well and keep our truck looking nice and new. So that's going to wrap it up for our full coverage floor mat install on our 2023 Chevy Silverado 2500HD. I got to say, this is a little bit more involved than I thought it would be. I thought they would just be you know, you just put the mats in, you just drop them in and you're good to go. So these mats are designed to work with like 3 different cab configurations plus some different option configurations. So, you know, they put enough mat in there that if you have just a crew cab with no storage tray in it, then that actually will just lay in. There's no cutting involved. The front and back both just lay right into place. But if you have that storage tray or have just an extended cab truck, then you will have to alter those floor mats like we did because that storage tray will not allow that mat to set in there the way it needs to. So I've probably spent the last hour and a half or so putting those mats in. I believe the set of mats was $210, I believe, We had a credit with Chevy where we bought the truck for $125, so that kind of paid for part of it. I believe the pricing is very comparable with some of the other full coverage brands. The big difference is you get these that have the Chevy logo on them, and if you have certain packages like a Z71 package, you can actually get them with that Z71 logo and stuff on them too. I think they're a really good quality mat. They're a good thick rubber, and they lay in nice. They fit the truck perfect, and I'm really happy with them. So thanks for watching the video today. If you found it helpful, I appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button. It really goes a long way in helping out the channel, and we'll see you next time.